Going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back again to the Tuffy Talk Live Show, y'all. We are rolling here. We are feeling good, flying high, sporting our Pac 9 gear, baby. And again, just loving the run that we're on. Once again, it just seems like this year, there's no doubt, Greg, that this year is the year of runs and it's the year of impressive teams. I know that I put out a tweet, I think it was yesterday, about, football, baseball, men's basketball, women's basketball, men's tennis, women's tennis. There's just so many teams this year that have been impressive. Not necessarily great, but just more of that they accomplished something that was not expected. And that's really been the theme this year.
Yeah, a lot of teams making postseason play, like you said, some of those making deep runs, and we got one more potentially left in us, and so we're really at this home stretch, and we have one more series, and then we're right into postseason, like we're saying. And before we know it, this time next week, we'll be preparing for ACC tournament. Now, obviously, there's still a lot to be figured out and sorted out, and seeding to be done. State can finish anywhere from, a slim outside shot of second. That one's on live support, but we can finish second anywhere to like 6th or 7th. That's how tight it is. And I don't, and I say that because I don't know. I haven't really looked at all the tie-breaking scenarios because there's a lot of teams that are 1 or 2 games away from like second place at this point. So I know there's some things that we hold, like Duke's probably a couple more games back, even though they're a game back because we swept them. But anyway, that'll all be sorted out this weekend.
Yep. No, and for this team is, just, I guess we'll kind of talk about it here, but obviously Wake Forest, coming off of a huge series win against number 2 Clemson. And this is a team that was preseason ranked, number 1 in the country by most, if not all, voting polls. And so we know that they have talent, but just this year they just haven't really been able to put things together. They're coming in hot, obviously, again, coming off of a huge series win against Clemson. We're coming off a huge win on the road at number 10 Virginia. But I'm sitting here, and again, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about the RPI and what it would take for us to host a regional, because I think that's the biggest question to every state fan right now is what is the likelihood of us hosting a regional. But right now, I'm saying it's a great thing that, in my opinion, that Wake Forest did well against Clemson, because right now they're put as a top 10 team RPI, generally a top 10 in terms of just general top 25 voting. So we need, even though it's kind of crazy to think about because we've had so many opportunities and so many big wins this season, that apparently we need one more.
Yeah, it is no secret that the midweek games have hurt us this year. You can even make the argument not winning any games at Louisville or Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is really the one that's tough. Louisville has come on as of late, but each of those series we were dealing with injuries, especially at the pitching position. So I'm not as disappointed in that. You had Sam didn't pitch in one of those games. Logan hasn't pitched in a lot of those games. So, and of course we talked about the Willitson injury. These guys are just been battling all year, and they're figuring it out at the right time. ACC series. This was the first rubber match. What's the weird thing about this was Virginia was the first, series where it took a third game to decide who was going to win the series. And, we did that, on the road, which is, even more impressive. But that just goes to how, states either, dominated the series or kind of gotten dominated. And so this was the first one where we had to go figure it out on a Sunday. And our third, having Logan Whitaker as your third starter, who was a Friday starter last year, that's a good position to be in. And I love what we have right now in our starting rotation. I love what we have on the back end with the bullpen, with the long relievers, and we'll talk about them. And of course, you got D-Rock closing it out. But even if you needed it, you got Dudan, who could also close too, depending on the situation you got in any kind of postseason play.
Yeah. What up, Michael?
What's up?
What's up?
Couldn't
You're good. You're good. And yeah, we already got, and also got to give a shout out to the people in the chat too, who are already getting things rolling here. So again, y'all, any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, make sure to get them in here in the chat. But
yeah, I'm going to address James real quick. Yeah, he's right with the Q1, Q2 losses. But when you play the 6th strongest schedule in the country, you're gonna have a lot of Q1 games, and so I get the point he's making here. But you beat a lot of top 10 teams at the same time.
Yeah. There's no. I don't think there's a team in the country that has the series wins that we do. I mean, that's 4 against top 15 teams, 1 other split, and you got another one against the top 15 team coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and you can't make excuses, but if it wasn't for the injuries of the pitching staff, those midweek games look a lot different, in my opinion. If I get it. You have to go out and play with what you got, but a lot of those freshman arms were having to figure it out real early in the season, and they were having to figure it out on the fly. And if you take the first half versus the second half of those freshman arms, that should count for something.
Like this weekend, right? Marone, Smith, and Van Dam, obviously because of the injury, didn't pitch, right? And those 3 guys were, we were relying on them to go a lot of innings, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marone started against Norfolk State, only threw, I think it was like 52 pitches, something like that, minimal, through like 4 1/3, 4 2/3, something. And so, obviously they pulled him back to have him available in the Virginia series, to your point, Michael, and we didn't even need him. And then D-Rock, he didn't even – he warmed up a little bit on Friday and Sunday, and that was all the work he got.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking at the RPI currently now.
19.
So again, what website do you guys use? Because I see a couple of websites.
So Warren Nolan gives it. NCAA.com updates like what, once a week?
Yeah,
or every couple of days.
This was updated yesterday, and it has us at 20 right now.
Yeah, Warren Nolan updates in real time live with every game. So that's that's what it's using, the same ranking system as D1 baseball or the NCAA. So
yeah, it feeds it. Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of summarize for everybody. So right now we're sitting at number 20 right now with a 2019 record, 29-19 record, and it has us right now 9-11 in quad 1 wins right now, which I'm curious what the what games is in quad 1, but I mean, and we'll kind of talk about it here in a little bit, but yeah, we'll kind of lay out scenarios here. But I do want to kind of touch base real quick here and touch on somewhat really grinds my gears. So because I have one in particular that just really just rolled my eyes today that I wanted to bring up. But Greg, I did want to ask you. So how was it at the UVA baseball stadium? Have you been there before?
That was the first time I went there. Beautiful facility. Talking with some of the locals there. They really put all their money into that right around the 2015 College World Series National Championship that they got. Really nice ballpark. It mirror. If you've ever been to UVA, all the structures kind of look the same with that, kind of the Thomas Jeffersonian vibe with his Monticello theme. So it incorporates that. They own, like, their facility is way better than state, obviously, but our scoreboard kicks their ass. I mean, our scoreboard is really good. So those creature comforts, having gone to some different ballparks this year, just seeing some of the things that we're able to do, it's a much better in-game experience. But I like what they did. So if you're at like first base or third base, if you're further up the outfield line, they actually angled all of the seats to home plate, so you don't have to like turn your head. You just you're watching the action, which is a really nice thing that they did. Their what do you call it? Their dimensions are just like Rosenblatt Stadium, which was the old home of the College World Series. So it's the exact same, even the height fences and all of that. So it's kind of a cool concept.
That's smart, like, because when you get there, you don't want to not be used to it. So that's kind of I never thought about that. That's very smart.
Yeah, well, it's the old stadium, so it doesn't really.
Well, yeah, I guess it doesn't help now, but yeah.
But yeah, that was the reason why for the low fence, because I was like, well, that's a really low fence out there. But in fact, I mean, that low fence was able to pull back one of Pennington's home run potential. Obviously, we'll talk about him when we talk about Player of the Week. But great facility. really nice crowd. Crowd was solid on Friday. Saturday and Sunday was not as crazy because they had lacrosse playing right across the field. And I do like how they have pretty much all their facilities right there. They have the softball, they have the baseball, and then they have the soccer / lacrosse. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of what South Carolina does with kind of their layout. But really nice place. I would definitely go back and watch a ball game there.
I saw a tweet from, I guess it was a reporter, who was their press box, at least one of them, is you can look out both ways at the lacrosse field on one side and the baseball field on the other.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, real nice facilities. UVA has done it right with all of their facilities. They're relatively, been modernized here within the last 10 years. State can definitely take a page out of that book. I would love to see, some facility upgrades. I know we're getting them, but not to the level of what they're doing. I think it's going to take a national championship to kind of get folks excited and get them pumped up for some great things to do.
So want to kind of talk here. Northwolf asking the question: are there any plans to improve the grandstand NC State ballpark? So I did have a list here of the planned upgrades, some of which have already happened. Greg, is there any that immediately jump out to in your mind?
Yeah. So to North Wolf's point, the grandstand's going to get a little bit of love, but not a lot. They're going to be more or less creating some like tailgating space out where the pitching bullpen used to be. That's going to get some work. They're going to do a little bit down the left field line, but I agree here with North. We could definitely use some shade. I don't.
And
I don't
that's
think,
coming.
Yeah. They're going to put those little tarp things, those canopies. Nothing. I would just say there was some rain on Friday and we didn't get wet. I mean, there was plenty of places to hide at UVA. And I would wish the Doak would kind of take some of that. But again, it's going to take money and, more than $20 million. They got some really nice field suites at UVA. They got a nice suite level, like kind of like the 200 level. They've got a little bit of the concessions are really well laid out. Lots of bathroom space on both sides, whereas kind of at Doak, you have a men's and a women's, one on each side. We'll get there. We just got to go win some ball games and win some championships.
Yeah, and just to kind of highlight a few upgrades coming up. So seating variety and quality will improve for sure. Premium entertainment space, like you talked about, concession upgrades even too, which I don't think that hasn't happened yet.
No.
So that'll come. But then from the team side, the pitching lab, new batting facility, new weight room. Much improved team lounge, but better locker room. So really kind of a full facelift is on the way. So
mostly that's coming now in this next wave is the player amenities that you just talked about. Everything that's player related, the labs, the lounges. I think they're still gonna do, I hope they're doing more concession unless they're calling that little sausage stand behind the press box the concession upgrade. I mean it's cute, but bathrooms would be nice. I really the bathroom facilities would be better. Yeah, when you have a full when we host regionals this year, that bathroom line is going to be out the door, and you don't want to miss any of the action having to use the facilities. But
agree more. So anyway, so one thing that I guess we'll kind of move over to the
really grinds my gears.
And the first one, which I got to bring up specifically, is something that really grinded many fans' gears, which was after Game 2, in terms of how the pitching was handled. And Greg and Michael, I want to kind of get y'all's thoughts. There's multiple people that were talking about, so Don Fritton pitched 5 2/3 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, and then you basically had just kind of like a sprinkle of pitchers basically from there on out between Carson Kelly, John Morala, Jackson Lucas, and Heath Andrews. And a lot of people were frustrated, seeming like that basically how that pitching was handled was basically like we're throwing away Game 2 and we're getting ready and focusing on Game 3. But like you were even saying before the show, Greg, one pitcher that can figure it out. And I mean, we're able to score. Like we have the offense that is capable of coming back from a deficit. So I mean, I know that a move like this is kind of like going for 2 or going for it on 4th down in football, where it's like you're an idiot if it doesn't work, but you're a genius if it does work. So looking back at it now, you're like, man, what a genius move by Avent, because we were able to, basically put in all hands on deck for game 3 and win the series. But I mean, what were your initial thoughts, Greg, here? And I want to hear your thoughts here too, Michael, on it as well, in terms of how the pitching was handled in game 2.
Yeah, Savino, who was pitching for the Cavaliers, he only had 3 strikeouts, but he kept us really off balance, and we just really couldn't get anything going. I didn't think Fritten threw bad. He had some unlucky hits. I mean, they got a couple down the line that was just perfectly placed, a couple bloopers. We just didn't have an answer until late. Which is the one thing I thought we did really well the whole weekend was we took it to their bullpen. I thought overall our bullpen was much better than their bullpen, and that was really the difference of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see kind of where people were thinking that, like, you're kind of throwing it in. But, you kind of play the odds on that. Like you said, if it works out, you look like a genius. If not, people will second guess it. I wasn't really mad with the decision. You go out there and throw guys. Hopefully it stays close. And maybe you make a run lane. We did a little bit. We got the Pennington home run, like thinking like eighth or ninth inning, I think was what we got it.
Yep.
If we hadn't given up those few runs, I think it was in the 7th, we would have ended up losing by 1. And so that was really the only difference. We never, even at that point, we never would have caught them had we, played it differently. We still didn't get to 6 runs because I think they played it 3 in, like I said, the 7th or 8th inning.
Yeah. Thoughts, Michael?
Yeah. I don't know. I think you probably could have taken a chance on Marone there, just because you had Whitaker starting game 3. But again, like Greg was saying, I mean, we really hadn't been hitting this guy at all, and maybe if we score a couple runs earlier and do get back in it, maybe then you go to Marone or Smith there when it's 6-4 instead of 6-1. But I don't know. It's always hard. You never know. You don't want to burn arms in a game that's already lost, especially when you've got a game 3 rubber match coming up. So you want to make sure you've got all hands on deck for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of split here. I mean, being down 6-1, because we got down 6-1 in the bottom of the 6th, or in the 6th inning. Sorry. So, I mean, there's still plenty of time, plenty of outs still, on the table to go and get some runs to get back into it. So, but I also think as well, I'm sure Avent thought about how injury filled we are at the pitching in the bullpen area, so we just don't have a lot to work with. So, well, again,
at that point, it's 6-1. Savino has thrown 4 or 5 innings at that point. He's only had 80 pitches. You think you might get another inning or 2 out of him. You don't know what UVA strategy is going to be.
Yeah,
and so, like I said, you haven't been really hitting him. You had 3 hits against the dude. I'm again looking at it, it was the right call, but. Again, I can see where people were frustrated with that.
Sure.
And we just weren't patient with them. I mean, we get that way with lefties for some reason. We just don't have patience when we're facing lefties, and we helped them out a lot, just kind of chasing some stuff. The off speed pitches, the changeups is what we really have struggled on a lot, especially with lefties this year.
Agreed. Absolutely. All right, y'all. So for what really grinds my gears, this was something, just a little bit of context. Again, I was on YouTube today, and of course an ad popped up for CPI security, and I'll just play the first couple seconds here, and then I'll stop it here. But
these mascots represent some of the most heated rivalries in college sports.
So then, what the heck is the 49er mascot doing on here?
Because they're a partner. I mean, you can't exclude one of them.
I don't care, dude. Dude? Look at all these guys. Look at all these guys. All these guys have national championships, have history, have sports excellence, and then you have the Charlotte 49er guy. Like, what the heck are you doing right
What
here?
is this commercial for?
CPI
security.
Yeah.
When you're watching,
they got a lot of money, so.
Well, sure they got money, but
and this is even after they
again.
got canceled a couple years ago. Remember that? Remember they got canceled a
Yeah.
little bit? Yeah. Well, they sponsor. They were always in the CPI red zone. Remember that we were watching the games on Bally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. That's kind of funny. I didn't even think about it. When I was watching this.
Yeah, it does stick out a little bit compared to all the other ones. But yeah.
It's like, which one of these don't belong? Kind of memes. Yeah.
Like, it's not even one that you even think for half a second. Like, I was like, dude, what is the UNC Charlotte guy doing here? Like, come on now. and for it to say these are the most, what did it say again?
These mascots represent some of the most heated rivalries.
The most heated rivalries. What is the Niner mascot have a heated rivalry?
He didn't say all. He said some of the most heated.
That Tennessee Charlotte rivalry is a big one. Let me tell you.
I know, right? Yeah.
People wait all year for those tickets to go on sale.
Hey, home and home series 2038 and 2039. Better watch out for those.
Well, and if the UNC Board of Governors gets their way, they're gonna or not the UNC Board of Governors. It was the state Senate or Congress or whatever it was.
House of Reps.
House of Reps. Mandating that we play them on a yearly rotating basis. That's gonna help the old RPI in football.
And that was the other thing I'm laughing at here is how when he got interviewed by Giulio Novis, how he said, yeah, like UNC Charlotte's football program has become, a world, a top class football program. And I'm sitting here like, okay, they haven't even had one I would call successful season yet. So let's chill out here. And this is now, they've been the program for now over 10 years. So I don't know. Again, let's talk about that for a second. What are y'all's thoughts, Michael? I asked you first, Michael. What are your thoughts here in terms of the mandates for the House of Reps for specifically NC State and UNC in terms of scheduling and state opponents for football?
I mean, I get it why they do it. It's good for the university system as a whole, but I don't know. I am not a fan of being required to play them. Like you want to have control of your own schedule. So I'm not against playing them at all, but I don't want to be required to play them.
Sure. Greg?
I'm just glad they took away from the fentanyl crisis to tackle this big topic here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's getting into something else too. But
yeah, no, I know. There's a little
these are the issues we're tackling.
Yeah, right. Let's go take care of our people before we worry about a college football game. What are we doing, guys? It's a slow week in the Congress, or the House of Representatives, whatever you guys call it down there. I didn't go to North Carolina Saviors class, so I apologize for not getting it, whatever they call it down there. But I don't know. Just someone trying to make a name for themselves. They probably got some constituents who like, you know what? I'm going to get me some votes, so I'm going to make them play each other every year.
Maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Can I do what grinds my gear?
Absolutely. Go for it. What you got?
Well, I need the cue.
Oh, my fault, man. Sorry about that.
I mean, come on, if you're going to do it.
What really grinds my gears?
People not be able to say Alec Makarenovich or whatever his name is. No, Makaravich. Oh my goodness! They were screwing A-Mac's name up. It's Makaravich. It's not that freaking hard. So between the announcers watching ball games, the in-house PA person in UVA screwing it up, and like, do they not get a pronunciation guide? Like,
and once you hear it the first time, it's like, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, Makaravich. It's easy.
Makaravich. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, that's what grinds my gears. Sorry, Mac, they keep screwing your name up, but I'm sure you're used to it. In the 23, 24 years that you've been around.
I thought he's played the most college baseball games out of any active player, like 250 games.
250. What was the number? Yeah,
crazy. I think it was 250.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, that's what grinds my gears. I got your back, A-Mac.
That's right. And just a reminder, though, too, that we do, as of right now, which again, subject to change, we do have right now scheduled a home and home series against UNC Charlotte in 2030 and 2031. So watch out for that.
Yeah. But real quick, I know this is Tuffy talk, but the story behind their coach? That dude's like so rich, it's not even funny.
Yeah. The UNC Charlotte coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why it's hilarious how he wears like the cutoff shirts on the sidelines. Like he looks like a homeless guy that just put a headset on, but yet, he has all this money.
He shops the Bill Belichick collection.
It's
Yes,
it's a Southern Bill Belichick collection.
Yeah.
yes, the salty
Anyway,
Bill Belichick with
hey.
the really 2 questions. That's what you're going to ask
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, like when you got that much money, like you can do whatever the heck you want to do. Man.
Yeah.
You can make your own statement. So
That's
anyway,
right.
let's get back to our show. But I still find that wild.
Well, one bone I got to pick. James Alman here saying which mascot reps a team that won a national title in 40 plus years. Ducks.
I think
Listen,
that's
man.
probably still Charlotte, right?
That's still Charlotte for sure. And then for us, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, man. I mean,
Cross
okay,
country.
cool. I mean,
cross country. Boom, James.
yeah,
Dallo, you've been burned.
boom,
No,
roasted.
I mean, I get what he's
Boom.
saying, like a revenue sport.
We're talking football.
Come on. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the only thing Charlotte's known for is
Not
soccer.
wrong.
Okay, like so, but come on. And then True Seminole coming in here reminding us that yes, we do not play FSU this year.
No.
So
We tried to play in
yeah.
baseball, but it rained.
We tried to play in baseball, but it rained. And True Seminole, we won't get into all that. If you want to hear our thoughts on all that fiasco, tune
In
in
all
last week.
seriousness, though, I mean, we're definitely thinking about them with their bad weather last Friday. That sucks. You know.
Yep. And hey, True
Hopefully
Seminole, come through.
We appreciate
tell
it.
people
We appreciate
hit that like button. We appreciate you, True. We
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
Everyone's welcome. But no,
Absolutely.
with the inclement weather last Friday, that sucked to hear, and it sounded like no one was really injured. So it's just property that can be replaced.
Absolutely. No, definitely praying for everybody there that was affected, no doubt. Now, the one thing which I North Wolf saying at True Seminole, kudos to you guys for recognizing how terrible the AC television deal is. I more want to bring up that comment more of like, is the NCAA just trying just to make a case easier and easier of why the ACC should leave with the fact that Duke softball had a top 6 RPI, won the ACC, beating one of the preeminent softball programs in Florida State to get there, and was put as the number 10 overall seed.
Yeah.
That is
I saw that.
disgraceful.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. That's terrible.
Yep. No wonder why people want to leave the ACC. They want to go to a bigger name conference to get the respect put on their name.
In the meantime, the SEC celebrating because they have 13 teams that qualify for the NCAA tournament. The SEC had 13 teams qualify for the NCAA tournament, and then we have Duke, who has done everything that has been asked of them, and then some, to qualify as a top 8 overall seed, and they got put as 10th, which is bonkers.
It's pretty crazy.
Kens, what up?
What's up, guys?
What's up? Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
No, and in other news, Florida plays lacrosse, but there's not an SEC conference for lacrosse, so they play in the American Athletic Conference for lacrosse, which I
Interesting.
didn't
Did not
even
know
know.
that.
Yeah, me
Fun
neither.
fact.
Until UVA women were playing. I'm sorry, Florida women were playing in Charlottesville for women's lacrosse, and so I was just looking up some things. I knew nothing about women's lacrosse, and I was like, AAC, what? Anyway,
Yep. Ray's saying, "What up, Kens?" Yeah. So let's go on ahead and jump on over to some tweets of the week, y'all. All righty. First big news here today. Transfer safety Jihad Carter has committed to the Wolfpack. He was originally started off his career at Syracuse and then transferred and spent 1 year at Ohio State before deciding to enter the transfer portal again and now ending up here at NC State. Former All-ACC safety at Syracuse, tried to take advantage and go, to one of the top 5 college football programs in the sport. Completely understandable, and didn't work out. So now he's coming to the NC State, which is one of the top 5 defensive schools in the country over the last few years. So shout out to him there. But I mean, Kens, let's get you in here. I think we're feeling a little bit better about defensive backs heading into next year. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, this one helped a lot. I mean, I really didn't have any doubts going into the season, but I felt like we definitely needed some more depth on our defensive side, which I never thought I'd say before. But this addition today, like, I feel way more confident about it.
Yeah. Michael, what you got? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a big pickup. I mean, it especially this late. I mean, a guy who was all ACC at Syracuse and then went to Ohio State, like that's a big It's a big pickup.
Yep. Well, and if I'm looking at this too, I think this is his last year of eligibility. I think he's
Yep.
Yeah.
he's a graduate. So I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, I'm assuming that if he's coming here, that even though we have all this depth, he's coming here to have a pretty good shot at a good amount of playing time,
Mhm.
especially being an all-AC guy coming from Ohio State. I'm assuming, I mean, there's
He'll get that playing time.
we definitely weren't his only suitor. So I'm sure playing time and opportunity had to be on the table. So, which is interesting to me because just like I was saying, we do have so many guys that, we've added and that we have. So,
But you play 5 DBs, so
true.
that's 10 guys who are on your 2 deep in the secondary. So, you need at least a couple more for, like you said, depth, quality depth at least.
Yeah.
Especially with Brown moving down to linebacker, you wanted to make sure that you had plenty of people to backfill that position.
And
it's
boy,
and it's a position where we're aggressive, stopping the run, and so that gives you I hate to say it, but opportunity to get injured, and so as much as we ask from that position. It's a very physically demanding position. That's probably a better way of trying to say what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And so, those guys come up and lay the wood depending on, the alignment that they're running for that play.
Well, and the interesting thing too is that, I mean, we're now going to be not only just a very deep defensive back core, but we're also going to be a very older core as well. As we have 7 defensive backs that are seniors next year. Corey Coley Jr., Aiden White, Devin Boykin, Bishop Fitzgerald, Donovan Kaufman, Kerry Martin Jr., who we'll talk about here in a second, and then Jahad Carter. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Like, if you're going to win a championship, that's what you want. You want guys specifically in the safety area to be that vocal leader to add on to the linebacker core, which is going to be a little bit younger. So that's kind of something to think about. So that's really kind of my only really concern for next year. And again, we'll talk about this. We're going to be doing some episodes here soon, talking about football. But right now, if I'm talking about concerns, it's really just linebacker right now. Not necessarily in terms of potential, but in terms of it's more of it could go either way. But it also I immediately kind of catch myself with the fact that Tony Gibson is the linebackers coach. So my concerns, like hitting a steel wall down here at the bottom.
I mean,
you got Tony Gibson.
We've been blessed with Peyton Wilson there for a while now.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're probably not going to get a Peyton Wilson. He's a generational talent, but I feel like we can definitely, with Tony Gibson as the leader, we can definitely fill that spot good. I think Sean Brown's going to do a really good job at linebacker position.
Yeah. And I think Cam Riley decommitted. And, we didn't add another linebacker to backfill him. We went and got 2 safeties. So I think that also kind of speaks to how they feel about not only Sean Brown, but, some of the younger guys stepping up too.
And we got another guy too. I don't know if we're going to talk about him, another transfer.
Yep, right here. Kerry Martin Jr., safety from Akron, and then Chaz Wallace from Colorado, defensive line. But I mean, that's honestly a great point, Michael. Never honestly thought about that. That now, like just Fraser was saying, now our scholarship is full now, so now we're done with football. And the fact that we could have filled it with somebody else to replace Cam Riley, but instead when we got 2 safeties, that's a great point. That's A+ analysis there, Michael. A+.
I heard that Terrell put some really high information into Chaz Wallace for committing to state. So shout out to him. Even though he's not on our team anymore, he's still talking highly of the program.
Good. Yeah. Well,
because he went to Colorado, correct? Right. Yeah. Terrell Timmons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I mean, with Terrell Timmons, I mean that wasn't a sour note. That's just simply he had no shot of playing time. No shot of playing time. So just that's all it was. But so excited and excited now to finally have Chaz Wallace, a proven defensive tackle behind Brandon Cleveland to give a little bit of depth there. So feeling really good about what Doran's put together. And again, we'll have episodes further to discuss thoughts about football, especially as we head into the offseason here too. but love what we're doing here. Very, very excited about what the team's going to do. And instead of going after a third string quarterback in the transfer portal out to spring ball, right? So you could have been that team, right? I won't mention names, but you know. So because apparently if we talk about them, then oh my gosh, like you're rent free, right? Y'all they live rent free, right? So
who are you talking about?
I know. I have no idea what we're talking about. I have no idea.
Greg's trying to get it out there.
That's right. So wanted to bring up this this graphic because it really stood out in terms of the ACC teams that are in the top 25 D1, and
this is last week.
This was last week.
Yeah.
But still, all these guys are still here in the top 25.
Yeah, same teams.
But same teams. But how if I'm looking at this here, so we have series wins. There's Clemson, FSU, Duke, Virginia, UNC, and Wake Forest, who are still in the top 25, even though this is not the correct naming now. So we have series wins over 4 of those. We have a 1-1 tie against FSU, and then we have an opportunity this weekend against Wake Forest. So
I have the latest here if you want it.
Go for it.
Yeah, so go ahead and pull that back up.
Oh, gotcha.
So we can just compare. All right, so Clemson dropped 2 after their series loss to Wake Forest.
To number 4.
Yep. FSU, hold on, let me blow mine up so I can see your screen. FSU dropped from 8 to 10 over their series loss to Pitt. Mm-hmm. Duke went up from 11 to 9 after they they
went down from 9 to 11 because they lost the Georgia.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, 9 to 11 because they lost to Georgia Tech, I believe.
Yes, they did.
And then Virginia dropped. Virginia was a big dropper this week after losing to us. They dropped from 10 to 18,
which is crazy.
Yeah, which is crazy considering how the others just barely dropped.
Well, exactly. Then, like FSU lost to Pitt. That's not even going to make the ACC tournament. They dropped 2 spots.
That's crazy.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, I get Clemson dropping 2 to Wake Forest. I get that.
Yeah.
But Carolina jumped from 11 to 7, which they didn't really play anybody, but whatever. We're moving on.
Well, they swept us, so Louisville swept us. So Louisville swept us. So
yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure that's where we'll get all that in the chat, or not the chat, but on Twitter. And then the big jump was Wake Forest jumping from 12 to 8, and then we were the biggest jump of all ACC teams, jumping from 23 to 17.
Yep, which I like. 17. 17 is a good number.
Yeah,
good number.
Good number for state.
Yeah, that's right. Very not soft people.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it just goes to what the point you were saying towards the beginning of the episode, Michael, where you were like, I mean, what team is going to have a resume as impressive as ours? And I mean, four of those teams in the top 25, we have wins over. So I think a little bit comes to the point which has been spoken about in terms of with the NCAA tournament for basketball, which is that they should start to talk a little bit about how they have played towards the beginning of the season, how they've played now towards the later part of the season. AK, like if you beat somebody who ends up being a top 15, top 20 team at the beginning, back in November, that shouldn't weigh as much as somebody who beats a top 20, 15 team in February, March, which I agree. So part of me is sitting here saying that, yes, that Louisville series could bite us.
Again, we had injuries in pitching. Like we didn't have our normal guys going in that series.
And Whitaker and Highfield didn't pitch, right?
Correct.
And I think a lot of people aren't realizing, like, again, North Carolina, not even just the big schools, like baseball is huge in North Carolina. We got Campbell, UNCG, UNCW, like those are some really good baseball programs. So even losing to some of those is not going to destroy our resume.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind too. If we're able to get a series win against Wake Forest this weekend, and Duke goes get a series wins against Carolina, we could potentially have 4 series wins over top 10 teams and a split. To Michael's point earlier,
that's what I'm
assuming that Duke jumps and Carolina doesn't fall too much.
Yeah.
So for me, honestly, and this is really my thought, Greg, here sitting at number 20 for NC State. It's basically you beat Wake Forest, you host. You lose to Wake Forest, you're playing a little bit behind the 8 ball heading into the ACC tournament.
Yeah. Don't go putting your eggs in the basket for an ACC tournament. We saw how that turned out for us a couple years ago when we made it all the way to the final, and it didn't mean a darn thing, and we got left out of the NCAA tournament. So I think you have to go make your hay this weekend with Wake Forest. The only way, because this is going to be so potentially, with Virginia, depending on how they do against Virginia Tech, you could say last week it was, kind of a one-on-one for a host potentially. And then you can definitely say that though for the Wake Forest series. But we're gonna have our hands full. I mean, Wake Forest has arguably the best pitcher in the league. Actually, he has the best pitcher in Burns. He's won like pitcher of the week like 4 or 5 times. So we're gonna have our hands full, and we're gonna have to go earn it. But I'm excited for it.
Yep. Is anybody in the game or any of the games this weekend?
Greg will be at them, and then I'll be there. Ashley and I will be there Friday. So.
Y'all can come pregame at our house if you want to.
Let's go.
Why are we gonna? Oh, it's at home. Why would I go pregame all the way in?
At Wake.
No, it's no.
Wake up, Kens.
Come on, Kens. Senior day. We haven't had senior day yet.
That's even better. Okay.
Yeah, we typically don't have senior day at their place.
That's on me. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
It's all good. We're just giving you crap.
It's been a long few weeks for that stupid draft.
I'm telling you, True Seminole, maybe you should change your name, man. But you're definitely our hype man right now in the chat.
Yeah, right.
The like button, man. We appreciate it.
If you got a Twitter handle, I'll put it in there and I'll follow you. So.
Oh heck yeah. But anyway, so I wanted to move on as well to this lovely little prediction tabulation as well, where you had a bunch of D1 baseball staff pick who was going to win between NC State and Virginia. And, let's see. Hold on. Let's count how many people picked NC State.
I mean, it looks like they were trying to do a bingo card and blacking out the bingo card.
That's basically what they did. And basically, for those listening in, all 11
D1
staff members, D1 staff members picked Virginia to beat NC State, including Steven Scoosh,
Big Donkey,
who is a former UVA pitcher. So, Steven, I'm saying, come on, man, get that home wrecker thought process out of your head, man, and look at NC State that we're freaking red hot. And we win, baby. That's what we do now. All right. Like, come on.
D1 publication is usually pretty good and pretty nice to us. They
obviously
speak pretty favorable of us, but I guess not when it comes to UVA. They might have some more UVA staff.
It's like, it's not like crazy that people would pick UVA over State. It's crazy that 11 people all picked UVA over State. There wasn't one or two.
Yeah, usually there's one. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain. That way I can talk all this smack. Like, y'all said it was this, and I took that. Nope.
Every single
they
one.
They were all drinking that UVA Kool-Aid.
Yep. No,
that orange Kool-Aid.
Yep. So I don't know, but I'm here for
shout out to Lock On Wolfpack for saving that tweet. They're the ones that posted that. So we'll make sure we give them their shout out. So.
Absolutely. Shout out to Ken and the boys, man.
And Grayson.
Yes, thank you.
I was just trying to blink.
Same. But shout out as well to the man himself, man. The guy that right now, NC State batting is a 3-headed monster, and Alex Microwavich, Jacob Kozar,
Macarena Ravich.
Yeah, right. Alex Makaravich.
Hey, Makaravich.
You're so stupid.
Jacob Kozart and Garrett freaking Pennington, man, who was absolutely ridiculous this weekend. He should have had 3 home run, 2. Well, he should have had 2 or 3 yesterday.
2 yesterday.
He had 2 yesterday.
No, he had 1 yesterday.
But he should have had 2. Okay, gotcha.
Correct.
Gotcha. Yeah, so he would have had 6 RBIs on the day. And first of all, I'll give a brief shout out once again to that UVA outfitters. That was a heck of a catch.
That was a catch.
Respect where respect is due. So
especially after you saw his first step, he went down. Like he
had no idea where that was.
Yeah, no, he got back.
No,
made the catch. But yeah, if I can real quick, 647. He batted 647 for the week. 11 for 17, 10 RBIs, 3 home runs. I think he had 2 doubles, and he's slow. I told you before we got on. I wrote all the stats out. There's this on base percentage calculator I like to use when just running some numbers sometimes, and I wrote it all down. And it was like 1.249 on base percentage, which is just insane. I think he got hit by 2 pitches, and I think he had 3 walks, and I think 2 of them were intentional because UVA didn't want any of that smoke after the weekend he had, but he homered in every game over the weekend. So, and he made a really nice, couple nice plays at first on defense. One to get Sam out of a jam on Friday night. So he was flashing the leather and getting it done at the plate.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I feel like with baseball, there's nothing wrong with necessarily having your 3 stars, which right now we have 3 stars hitting the bat in Pennington, Mac and Cozart. But like, let's put it this way, I don't think we're necessarily dependent on those 3.
No,
we're not dependent on them. So we do have options otherwise. I mean, Luke Nixon, Buttersworth, who really stood out. He got Razor in here saying, "Don't forget the mom who butters his bread." And
2 home runs over the weekend.
Yeah. So I mean, we have options, and I mean Eli Serrano, who's I think, he hasn't necessarily killed the ball. Not been a huge home run guy, but listen, I mean, yesterday specifically, there was time where he had an 0-2 count, and on a leadoff, and he got a shallow line drive right over the second baseman to get on the base. So I mean, he got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about a few guys here. You got Noah Souls, who's really just coming back into his zone. He had some nice sacrifice plays. Kind of just playing some small ball. That was nice. Luke with some small ball. He absolutely crushed that ball yesterday. But I'm just trying to think who else.
Alex Sosa is.
So yeah, Sosa's the really big one. He's starting to get out of it. Having coming back from his illness and just kind of starting to find his groove. So if he can, I made a tweet last week. I said, watch out for Sosa, doing some damage. We just have a lot of dudes that are just kind of just finding spots here and there where we need to get picked up. And when you score, what did we score in the first game? What was the score? I'm drawing a blank. 7-5. Is that 7-5?
Yeah, 7-5. Yeah, 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5, and you score 5 on Saturday and 13. I mean, we can hit, and we haven't really gotten into the stolen base game, but they're finding ways. And here's the other thing: we took advantage of UVA's miscues over the weekend. Whether it was wild pitches Friday, they had a drop fly in the right field. We took advantage of the fly ball and left yesterday that the guy didn't see. Where it was some more wild pitches.
That's gonna be
on
that. That's gonna be a terrible feeling when you lose it in the sun, because not only are you're not gonna make the play, but it's like, okay, am I gonna get knocked in the head right now?
Yeah. And then conversely, we didn't beat ourselves. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 errors the whole weekend. So when you can take advantage of the other one, I think it was where Butters hit his home run on Friday. The guy dropped a pop up in foul territory, and so the next pitch or two after that, Butters hits the home run, and he's starting to find a stroke. And over the last month or so, starting with that UNC walk off, and he's just gotten a lot better at hitting. And Havner had a couple of hits yesterday. So, you just guys, again, it's just stepping up for this team. When someone goes down, someone comes up and just contributes. And it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm excited about this team. This team, so funny real quick. I came home after my 2-hour drive home, and Kristen's upstairs putting a few things away, and she comes down. I'm already rewatching the baseball game. She's like, "What are you doing?" And she saw the score. She says, "Oh, you're watching the game again." I was like, "Yeah, I got to be able to remember everything to talk about it tonight." So,
what a guy! Look at Greg like doing his homework, man. That's what's up. That's why I pay him the bag bucks right there.
Actually, I was just trying to find myself on TV. That's really the only reason why.
I was about to say, I think
that's great weekend in Charlottesville.
Well, especially since I saw you too yesterday wearing the our new baseball uni this year, right?
Yeah, the red jersey. Yeah, I love that jersey.
Sick. I think sick. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But got to give an extra shout out too as well to Consiglia, man, who Wolfpack Stats
really
came out with this stat here when he faced Clemson, FSU, and now UVA on the road. He's thrown a total of 14.2 innings while only giving up 8 hits, 0 extra base hits, 11 strikeouts, and only
crazy.
5 walks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
yeah.
I mean,
against those 3 teams too. Dang.
Well, he's just another one of those arms that we were just talking about earlier with Dudan. and Duden came in on Friday, pretty much locked it down. And that's really the other thing, 2 pitchers on Friday, had the bullpen game on Sunday, 2 pitchers yesterday. Look, I tweeted it out last night. If you give me 6 innings and I only got to throw 2 guys, I like our chances every game.
Yeah.
And Michael already mentioned Marone earlier, and then, Coop, and these freshman arms going to be something. By the way, shout out to his mom,
Derek Smith.
Yeah, shout out to his mom, Melissa, whose birthday was Saturday. Coop's mom was Saturday. So not only did Coop go out and do a nice thing on Mother's Day, and she probably rewarded her with because I think that's his first win. I think it was his first win. I think it was because I heard him talking after the game.
Well, just to confirm for anybody who's confused, yeah, this guy's a freshman, and he those stats you just heard, that's from a freshman. So I mean, it really poses the question, like if everything was candies and nuts, and we were fully healthy. I mean, top 5 easily, man. Like,
right?
Yeah,
because we're finally back healthy, and still don't have our Matt Wilson, who is going to be the Saturday starter coming into the season. So
yeah, you would have had 4 quality starters. Everybody gets those midweek games look so much different with Willitson in this lineup.
Oh God,
because you probably throw. I don't know. Either I don't know who you would throw either.
Probably Whitaker.
I guess I would assume. I assume Whitaker would have been the midweek game guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy to play the if game, but everybody gets pushed down a notch. But then if that happens, maybe these freshman arms don't get as developed as much. So you just don't know how it plays out. But I'm just thankful that these guys are getting reps now, and so hopefully it'll pay off in another year or two. You'll have Sosa being the next version of Cozart, and I'm excited. About it.
So I don't know if you guys know, but I invited a special guest here tonight on the show. So I'll bring him on in here right now. Mr. Adams Macon.
Who is that guy?
Welcome to the show. I know. Who is that guy?
It took me forever, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's all good, man. Dude, you did
but
all
I'm
right?
here. Yeah, man. Doing pretty good. Just almost ready to go to sleep now. Almost you guys, but
I bet. Well, we'll give you the floor here real quick, man. We've talked about most stuff, man. So I mean, what's sitting on your head? What's your thoughts? Give us your bold takes, man. Go for it. What you got for us?
Nothing's sitting on my head. But the what are we talking about?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about. Okay, you've already talked about it, so I'm not going to delve into it. But I think huge win against UVA. He's series against UVA. Big series coming against Wake with what the implications are for the regional hosting and all that. Do you guys think we're hosting right now or no?
Right now,
like if the tournament started today.
I think we're just on the outside. I think
I
think the NCAA polls.
Who's got a better resume too? That's what I come back to.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah, baseball is just so weird. It's really hard to keep up with baseball just because it doesn't get talked about a lot. It's hard to find stats. It's just one of those sports. But
yeah.
You kind of rely on other talking heads.
Yeah.
Macon, Preacher Man asked, what really grinds your gears, Macon?
What really grinds my gears, I'll catch you before you. What really grinds my gears right now is why do polling services have such different opinions of one team? So, like, I don't get it. I mean, like, if they're obviously experts, like, I'd be curious to know how they like one service. Are they favoring one thing over another? Like, I'd be curious to know. And
like you're talking about how, like, in one poll they had us like at number 9, and then it has
one was at 17, and one was like really low. And I'm like, okay, so that's like the whole spectrum of the poll. What's where are we really? So
right,
that really grinds my gears right now. I think that's probably it.
Well, and to build off that too, because the beautiful thing about baseball is that, like, it's not like in football where you're halfway through the season, you've played 6 games. In baseball, you're halfway through the season, you've played 20 games. You played a good bit about baseball. Like I mean, like anybody who has, God,
they are who they are.
Like we're right. Well, like anybody who has, like, there was one poll that came out that had like UVA like 10 spots ahead of us. Like they had them at like number 9, us at 19. It's like that's how like that like in football you could say, well, listen, like, there's not a big thing to look at. But
Yeah.
come on now, like 40 games in, there's no way UVA is that much above us, if any at all. There's no chance. So, yeah, agreed, Macon.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I think it's interesting, and I watched Rob McLam, who does some independent work, but works for Inside Pack Sports, interviewed Avent. And I had a good point he made up about with Logan Whitaker, like, and different things the rest of the team's going through, but has gone through. But particularly with him, like him battling through, getting sick, coming back, does that feed into the rest of the team? And he brought up how, a lot of teams, and I think there's even like I can't remember, D1 baseball. I remember an article about something similar to, like, a lot of teams would just kind of fold right now. And with the injury history and the sick bugs they've had and all that. And I think you someone put a tweet out, that might be the most impressive series win so far this season. You could argue it's the best looked game they've had against that 13-5 win against UVA. But, that's pretty cool. Like, they're just kind of embracing it. And I think it's making them dangerous, so to speak, because it's like this team really isn't backing down, or isn't really. They've got a lot of characters, from a cliche, so to speak. So
yeah, Macon, if I could just piggyback off you real quick, that's a really good point. It was a series where I would agree with you. It was our best series just because it was a road series. We had gotten swept twice in ACC series on the road, and it was just a gutty performance. It was. Logan's first real action. He had thrown basically an inning at FSU, and you didn't know really what you were going to get through the long haul. And from what I hear, he lost like 20 to 25 pounds. So you think he's going to get stronger as he gets a little bit more outings, and we could be real dangerous with him dealing.
Yeah, it's just that's really cool to me. And I know it wakes me big when I know they had one of their pitchers break their single game strikeout record, which is something that I think is maybe good for State to kind of keep their attention on the guy. But they're a good team. I just think it's interesting that Florida State, Duke, and Clemson all lost their series, which really helps out State. Like, the timing of this series win is really big for State to me. And that's all I'll say on that. I know you guys probably talked a lot about it. I think the other thing that excites me right now that's on my mind is the transfer portal for men's and women's, or men's football and basketball, and just how, like, you've got the 3 commits from the transfer portal, and KJ Martin. You've got Chaz Wallace, the defensive tackle, and you've got now Jahad Carter, the safety from Ohio State for 1 year before that, and with Syracuse. I think I made the comment, but I'm actually going to. Are we done? I think we're done.
Yes,
we're done. So
in football, in basketball, we have one
football. Right. In football, that's interesting to me because they got the defensive tackle. They addressed the defensive back, which is good, I guess. I'm kind of curious now how we view the depth chart. Maybe we'll have some episodes coming up soon to kind of break down our reactions on that. But just my initial takeaways were, I thought the guys they brought in, all 3 of those guys, were quality depth pieces at the very least. I imagine one of those players will start. I'm not really sure, but I could see. I'm sure the nickel spot's somewhat open. So if that's a DB spot there, maybe one of those guys can take that. I don't know who takes that. But
Bishop Fitzgerald was the guy that got the most looks at nickel spot last year. So
but to me, that tells me it's not certain he's the guy.
Oh no!
Like, I feel like you're certain. Maybe even at corner, are you certain Sis stays the corner? Like, you probably are.
I mean, Aiden White's the only guy that I'd say is like locked in.
He's certain. He's certain, right?
But besides that, I mean, Sissy, he's been very impressive. But I mean, right now you have 7 seniors in your defensive back room. So besides Aiden White, I think every spot's open.
Isn't it crazy? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just think it's really interesting. You've got guys who have had all conference honors from the defensive backs, and then you have Chaz Wallace, who started for Colorado for 4 games. And I don't know if I don't know if that's because of injuries or what it was, or maybe he just earned his way onto the field purely just beating out guys. But to get a guy at least as a depth defensive tackle spot, which I think we all agreed is the biggest need on the team right now. And you got a guy who was a starter in a Power 4 or 5 conference, whatever you want to consider the Pac-12 now. Like that was, that's really good additions to me in the shorter transfer portal window, I should say.
Yeah. What I was going to just piggyback off real quick too is when the season was over and, Battle says he's going pro, White says that he's going to transfer out.
You lose Harris.
Kennedy is going, his eligibility is up. So you're thinking, what are we going to do? And then to see here on May 13th, like you get White back and you go out to the portal and then you got recruiting some kids and kids stepping up in spring ball. We're good. Like,
I'm trying to think the depth. Yeah.
Because that was the position we were really talking about, that and kind of linebacker, because you're replacing Peyton Wilson. But it's the one area we thought, we're not so sure.
So who are our DBs right now? White, Cisse, Fitzgerald. You've got Fagan as a depth piece. You have Boykin. So maybe Boykin's a nickel. Maybe he's a safety.
Yeah, but I don't think they're counting on him to be healthy.
Right. I'm just trying to think who's there. Like I'm trying to think if I'm missing. Maybe Zach Myers.
Well, and again, and we spent a little bit of time on this earlier, making. We'll do episodes about this, so I don't want to spend too much more time on this. But the point which we made earlier is that so basically in the defensive back room you have 7 seniors: Corey Coley Jr., the transfer, Aiden White, Devin Boykin, Bishop Fitzgerald, Donovan Kaufman, Kerry Martin Jr., and Jahard Carter.
You got some options, man.
Yeah.
So no, we're set in defense.
Yeah.
Like you said, at a minimum, special teamers, right?
At the very minimum.
Yeah, and I won't get into all the things I still wish they would have gone and done, but
there's plenty of summer for that, buddy.
Right. So really excited to get those 3 guys. And then I'm excited to see what State does in the basketball transfer portal. I think that also closes Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because summer classes start, I think, Wednesday or somewhere around there, somewhere soon. So I'm very excited about that. I won't keep going on, but those are just some things that are on my mind right now that I'm pretty excited about. So,
yep.
Go ahead. You finish your point, and then I got something. Go ahead.
Well, only thing else I was going to say is that once this portal window does close for basketball, we'll definitely do some episodes talk about that as well in terms of thoughts on the additions, what the team will look like for next year as well. Go ahead, Greg.
No, I had a late addition for what grinds my gears.
Okay, all right. He wants the cue.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Making showing up late. We have to redo the whole show in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, dude. That's what I said. You got to cut me off.
No.
Cut me off.
Hey, we're just happy to see your face, buddy. It's been a minute.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We can't all be real fans like Greg, okay? It's so hard to do. So
I mean, someone has to do it.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I guess what are your thoughts about this weekend coming up? I think if they can do it, I'm curious to see how the bullpen rotation is going to look moving forward. But
so it's funny. So here, let me put this in real quick. So Preacher Man asked the question: would it be smart to not throw Highfield when Burns pitches? So the first thing I'll immediately say to 2 things. First and foremost is that to me would be a move, basically to say we're okay being at a disadvantage in one game. Like that's basically what that would be saying. That might not be what actually is happening, but that's how it would come off.
It sets the wrong precedent. It sets the wrong tone.
Right. It's like, wait, what are you trying to say? Like you're saying that we can't win this game, like that we're just it's done and over with. But then part 2, I would say there's not a hotter team right now on Fridays right now than NC State. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you're putting Sam Highfield out there on Friday. That is 100% happening. Sell the house, sell the car, sell the baby if you have to, and put it all on the line that Sam Highfield will start on Friday.
Thursday, but yes.
Thursday, sorry.
Well,
yes.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's his last start in the dope, by the way. Like you don't think he's not ready for that?
Regular season.
Yeah, regular season. Yeah.
No, but
we're gonna host one more. I get what you're
to your point. Yeah. To your point on Friday, State playing well on Fridays this week. It'll be Thursday.
But
State
we beat Carolina on Thursday.
beat Santucci from Duke and Arnold from Florida State on Friday night matchups. So,
yeah.
And those are probably the two best pitchers outside of Chase Burns from Wake in the ACC. Yeah. So I don't think there's any reason, no reason to, shy away from that.
No.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would say I'm curious. Where's Wake at right now? What's their situation like?
I mean, they're kind of in the same position we are as far as.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a very fun series this weekend to me. Both teams are playing for things still. Every team really is, but State and Wake are playing for a little bit something extra that they can get into for the postseason, and I think that's going to make it's a natural rivalry. It's Wake Forest. It's going to be a little chippy, a little fiery matchup series. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll definitely be tuning in that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it just comes down to I think the differentiating piece is that it's at Doak. It's not at Wake. If it was at Wake, I'd pick Wake to win. Because again, I think that senior day at home, it's going to make a difference. So I just have a hard time putting money or belief in the fact that Wake is going to pull two out of three against us. That's really where I sit.
And I hope D1 baseball all picks Wake to win.
That's right. Well, because that's the other thing as well. We have a good amount of seniors. I mean, your top three. Those 3 stars we talked about are all seniors. Those are the guys that this is going to be the show. So Alec Mack, who came to NC State to try and prove himself. Jacob Kozart, who everybody was saying, we should have started the freshman. We should have kept the freshman. Not had Kozart, and then Garrett Pennington, who came from Wichita State, who was a mid-major transfer, and now has broken out into like MLB teams. Watch out for this guy.
I've got a few questions to ask you guys just to get your opinion on where the baseball team's at. Just like a few little options. Okay. So, on an offensive standpoint, who is the hottest player right now?
Scary Pennington.
Yeah.
Pennington?
Right now it's Pennington. Yeah. Right now.
Pennington. Okay, so then that's pretty easy. Then who is the X factor offensively for you guys? Because I know who it is for me.
Offensively, well, if we're talking X factor, I feel like you can't pick one of the top 3. It has to be who's the other guy.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going for Serrano or Pennington or Makarevich. So I'm going for somebody.
That's why you can go Serrano.
I would actually go Serrano
because he hasn't played super great lately. I will say that. So
he's played solid, but yeah, he's
not played first bat. He's not played first bat potential.
I'm not going to give you a name. I'm going to give you a position. Whoever's playing left field.
Luke Nixon.
Yeah. Oh no. Wait. Or it could be Luke. It could be Chase.
Yeah.
It could be.
Dude, that's not all I was going to say, but Luke Nixon's a good choice, though.
Yeah. I honestly, I think it's potentially whoever's out there in left. Or I'll give you a second one if you want to get a little cray-cray.
I think I know where you're going.
Who's ever at second base.
So
it depends on how you're playing because of matchups. I think it's going to be one of those guys at one of those positions.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, my answer was Butterworth. I think he is
too.
Man, I think when he's on, he's really on, and he makes some big hits. Now Luke Nixon has played too. That's why I like that pick. But I feel like Butterworth. I think he's the 5 spot, right? Is he 4 or 5?
I think he's 6th.
He's 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been honestly, they've been shuffling the lineup between 6 and 9 a lot. Like guys have been moving up and down a lot. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, he's my X factor offensively. That's just the way I view it. So then, who is your X factor out of the bullpen? Who's your other pitcher? Like, who is the guy that's like, man, this guy, if he's on, we're going to be tough to beat?
Britton for sure.
Well, he said bullpen.
Yeah, bullpen.
Okay, just go pitching. Just go pitching. Because you could pick Whitaker or Highfield. I thought those are easy ones. So I'm thinking I agree. Some people say Consiglio. Some people say Derek Brown.
Because you're making Greg. Let me make the case for you very easily. And the fact that if we are going to include starters, then it's Fritton. Why? Because that second 100%. Game. Because it's the second game. So if you win that game, you have an opportunity right there to win the series. If you lose that game, then you have to win that game. So you need Fritton to be on his A game no matter what, especially in this series.
And I think he just hasn't,
he hasn't
pitched up
been
to his
what he was.
potential that people expected him to be this year after his freshman year.
Nope.
So, if he can really be that guy who's expected to be, I mean, he's been solid. Obviously, he's the Saturday starter right now. So,
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah.
You could take this a multitude of ways, and I don't think you're wrong. I mean, if you gave me Fritton, Dudan, Consiglio,
Derek
or Smith, if you gave me one of those four names, I would have a hard time arguing against you.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go. It's really hard too because putting all my friendships aside with family members.
Correct.
This is strictly.
It's a subjective thing.
I want to go Duden.
Because see, Duden to me, he's like on all the time. I feel like I haven't seen a bad game from him. That's why I'm almost
Jackson Lucas. Like Lucas has shown flashes this year.
Sure.
I agree with that a little bit. But he, to me, I'm not like, I don't know what is count time. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to have like an average of games where he's on, he's off. I just kind of like, oh man, he's shown flashes. That's the way I kind of view Jackson Lucas.
Yeah.
But
he's still a freshman. That's why it's hard for me to put a lot of. That's why an X factor for me, putting it on a freshman, it's like it makes sense from the pure respect of what an X factor is, right? Someone that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
But they're also a freshman at the same time.
That's what Duden and Consiglio aren't they? Both freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sorry, Brown and
Brown. Who's Brown?
Derek Brown.
Derek Smith.
Derek Smith.
Sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking of Derek Brown. Derek Smith. Okay.
You're thinking Devontae Brown.
I don't know what I'm thinking. It's 9:15. So
yeah, no, Derek Smith is not a freshman.
Yes, but because I'm telling you all this right now, man. Like Dudan, like a freshman pitcher that can throw a ball at 98 miles.
He's got some swagger to him.
With a nasty slider. Yeah,
he's got a little flavors to his throws. I like that.
He's what they got. He's got what they call stuff.
Yeah,
he's got the stuff. Yeah. He's got the swagger to him. I like it.
Major league stuff.
Yeah, well, the pure fact that he gives up the home run on Friday night and comes back and just lasers in and gets like the next guys, like he was like, okay, yeah, all right, you got me on that one, but he didn't lose focus, he didn't get derailed, especially as a freshman, right? That's a moment where you might see a freshman, of lesser in fortitude, if you will, crumble, and he didn't.
Why'd you look at me when you said lesser in fortitude, Greg? Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I was looking at anyone that wanted to look at me. It was your beautiful eyes that caught
which is
my
nobody, Greg. That's
in
nobody.
In the dark. Well, because
that intestinal fortitude, like it showed on Friday night.
Well, because if somebody were to ask me why should I get involved with NIL for baseball, I would specifically say to hold on to Dudan because Dudan's going to be a guy that's going to get offers.
This entire freshman class, bro. This is going to be this freshman class stays together.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: they all genuinely love each other. Some of these kids play with each other in like Florida. A lot of Florida kids on this team. But even the ones that are from North Carolina, they've all just bonded really well. So I could definitely see, and they're getting playing time, right? And that typically is why you see kids leave is when they're not getting playing time, and so that they're getting playing time this early. It definitely bodes well for the future.
Yeah. No, and again, I mean, and again, just because I'm going to be tailgating with you, Greg, this weekend, so I know I'm going to see a lot of parents there. So I'm not saying anything bad against others. I'm just saying a freshman pitcher who can
I don't
throw
say anything bad anyway.
Who can throw
turn off this camera. It is on.
But well, you were sitting there earlier, like nervous, like you were going to pin him.
No, for me too.
But I'm saying a freshman pitcher that can throw a ball 98 miles an hour, like that's not common, folks. That's not.
He's going to get stronger too. Like he's going to get stronger, which is incredible to think. No, what I was going to say is like it's tough for me to say bad things, and I try to keep everything factually based because it's hard to argue with facts.
Sure.
But asking like who the X factor is like try to pick your favorite kid.
Right?
Literally.
I just feel like there's a name that maybe some people come to mind. For me, it was Butterworth because to me it's like, dude,
makes sense.
If he's on, we are hard to beat. Like, I don't know. I get that vibe from him. I don't know why, but I do. So
agreed.
I'm telling you, man. If we pitch two pitchers, like I said earlier, on Friday and two pitchers on Sunday, we're gonna win a damn series. Like we're just not gonna lose series. I'm sorry.
When you have
which is wild. Yeah, it's wild when you don't win. You're not winning a lot of weekday mini series kind of things, and you're winning the big, more critical ones. You haven't
Yeah.
lost a big critical one, really.
Yeah,
So
and this, I mean,
Knock
this is
on
what I want
wood,
to say about
so.
I want to say about Sam. Like, he's quietly 5-1. We're not really talking about him. And he kind of I was joking with his dad on Friday night, and we were just like, look, he just hung around. We scored like in the 7th inning to take the lead, or 6th inning, I think it was.
Stayed in.
And he stayed in long enough to get a win. He just battles. He's like that grizzly vet that just finds a way. He's not going to probably overpower you with his fastball, but his good location. He keeps people off balance. He just does the little things. And if it keeps you hanging around, this offense can take over. And so that's all you ask for, is just to hang around and figure a way out. And we have, by the way, we haven't even talked about this. We have 6 walk-off wins. Like, we haven't talked about that in a minute. So again, if you
hasn't happened in a while either. So
and it's right. You're right.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
I honestly am kind of glad. I don't want any more walk.
Yeah.
Like, I like the win part. I want the walk off. I like to keep it. Like, I like to have the big lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And State's only. I was looking at the resume after the game on Sunday, and State's only lost 2 true series.
Right.
Louisville, where you didn't have Whitaker or Highfill, and then Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech one was bad. You had everybody available.
And Butters didn't play in that series. I think he only played in like one of the games.
Yeah.
So
So
he got hurt.
yeah.
So, and that's the thing. Like,
loss.
we haven't even had like our full complement of lineup. Willits aside, because we know we lost him early in the season before the got started, but we haven't had our full complement of players all year, really.
No.
Yeah. No.
At least not fully.
And we won't.
Except for game
And we
1.
won't. With Van Dam and Hogue out now.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's my thing though, Greg, and because there's no doubt in my mind, I can easily say that this has been Avon's most impressive coaching job. I could argue in his career so far, man. It's up there, no doubt about it. But the old saying, you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm sitting here saying, I felt this way before about previous NC State teams, and I feel differently about this team because of all the injuries and that they just find a way. They hang around. They're not like to the outsider. So let me talk, people not, inside the program or fans of the program. They're not going to wow you when you kind of look at some of their statistics. We're middle of the pack batting, middle of the pack pitching, middle of the pack fielding. It's just, they just find ways to win ball games. That's why, we sit around, and again, we'll talk to the statistics. Will say whatever you want it to say, but looking at it from a holistic picture, we're like 9-10 in every single major category, like offensively, defensively, and pitching. We're overall in those positions, so it's not sexy at all, but it just gets it done.
That's where I come back to. I feel like this team is very dangerous right now because on paper they don't like. I almost wonder if you don't take them. I don't know if you take them too seriously, minus the series wins they've had. Like, it's like
right.
Okay, like they're just an average team.
And a lot of the series wins are 2-1, right? We've only swept BC and Notre Dame, who are not great teams. So it's like even the teams, we're winning series, but it's only 2-1. So it's not like Wake just swept Clemson. I was like, oh wow, that's a big statement by Wake to sweep a top 5 team. But State really hasn't had that. They've won a lot of series, but no sweeps.
And it's funny too, when we don't win the game in these ACC games, it seems like we get blown out.
Which goes to your point of the stats, because in the games we lose, we get blown out. So that
And when I say blown out, like four plus runs, to me that's a blowout. If it's 4+ runs, that's a blowout. They just again, it's not glamorous. They just go out and win, and I'll take a gritty team anytime.
Yeah. 100%. I know, Macon, we're a little bit late here, but I do want to bring up one more thing too, in terms of the other question people are asking in terms of what do we have to do to get a top 4 seed for the ACC tournament.
Just go win. You control your own destiny at this point.
Well, and that's pretty much what I'm saying. I'm saying you beat Wake, in my opinion, you lock in a top 4 seed and you put yourself in a really good position to host a regional.
And so what happens if you go 1-3? Like, so you like 1 win out of the 3.
You can be 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. Sorry. Yeah, 1 out of 3. Yeah.
Depends on what the other teams do at that point.
Right. So your fate's not in your own hands. Almost like go and win the thing and don't remove all doubts. Essentially. So
if you win out. So this is the scenario. If you win out and Clemson loses 2 out of 3, we're the number 2 seed in the ACC tournament. If you
which
win
is crazy. You said that
Atlantic Division,
that's
yeah.
the average team that you talked about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But the ACC is very bunched up. I mean, it's a very
I know, but it's like
still, it counts.
that's
Yeah.
that's where I come back to it.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'll give it to the viewers or listeners even in numbers. So right now
Yeah.
UNC's 20-7 in AC, so
Yeah,
they
they're
locked up
locked.
number 1.
Yeah.
Clemson's 17
They're good,
and 10.
by the way.
We
Well,
took
hey,
2 or
beat
3.
them.
I saw
gonna say.
them Friday night, which by the way, I was like, I wore my stay hat going in there, and some Carolina fan walked out. He was joking, laughing. He goes, "Dude, you got some bird poop on your hat." I was like, "Oh, you do too, man." So,
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's funny.
but it was fun. It was funny, but it was like, man, they crushed Louisville.
They
that
hit.
night. I think it was 14-4, and they hit like 6 home runs. I was like, wow, this is a really good UNC baseball team.
real quick, Dom gave up 3 home runs to them and still got the win
Yeah.
because they were solo shots. That's what
Exactly.
you have to do against them.
Did we win the series? We lose the series to them.
We beat them 2-3.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's too much winning going on right now. It's just hard to remember. So
Well,
That's right.
yeah, the butter. We took the first 2 and then got blown off.
Oh, that's
the third
right.
one again.
right, I was at the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
okay. Were you even a fan?
Yeah, right.
I know, dude. I know.
I mean, you don't even know where you're at.
He's just seen so many wins lately. It's hard to
Yeah,
keep
it's hard to
track.
keep track of all the winning.
It is.
So
It is. Go ahead and finish your thought, Leighton. We cut you off, buddy.
You're good, man. No, so Clemson's 17 and 10, the ACC, and then basically you have 5 teams that all have 15 wins. Florida State, us, Wake Forest, Virginia, and Duke. Keep in mind that we have the tiebreaker on all 4 of those teams. Well, except for FSU, but whatever.
Hey, what did I say last week? If it comes down to that one game, I'm going to be
Yeah.
pissed.
mad.
Well,
I'll
think-
say, okay, you said it for me because
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
At the same time, I think if we end up tied with them, I think we have the tiebreaker anyways because of the record against other Atlantic Division teams.
I think so
I
too.
think we have a better record.
Who does FSU play this weekend?
They got an easy one. I think it's Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think it's
So-
Georgia Tech.
Go GL Jackets, I guess.
yeah.
Didn't Georgia Tech just beat?
They
they
just beat
play?
Duke. They just beat
Yeah,
Duke.
Duke. Yeah, we do.
2 out
So,
of 3. I think.
so yeah. So I mean, basically, yeah.
And Florida State just lost to Pitt, and Pitt's not a good
Yeah,
team.
I mean, it's like it can. Baseball to me is a more inconsistent sport. Like you can have random losses, and it's like that's just the way it is. So
Yep. So basically, to me, it's really actually very simple. You win against Wake, 2 out of 3 at least. You get a top 4 seed. You put yourself in a really, really good position to host a regional. You lose to Wake, you're probably more than likely that 5-6, and you're having to do some damage in the AC tournament to really give
and
yourself.
you're going to
good
be a
chance.
2 seed, probably traveling to either ECU or Mississippi State or like Kentucky potentially. Probably Mississippi State because we would go to like the 15 or 16 place more than likely. But we'll see.
I just don't want to. I just like the less I have to talk to ECU fans, the better. That's pretty much where I stand.
Yeah,
So,
and we've struggled with them this year. I mean, it was
and hey, remember those comments of them saying, man, like you guys are doing way too bad. You guys are ruining our strength of schedule. And then there they are losing to Tulane.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, disgusting. And then you lost in a walk-off to one of your former players, ouch. So yeah, no, it's but hey, so honestly, I'm okay if we face ECU because I'm sitting there saying, hey, listen, you got the first 2, we'll take the last one, baby.
kind of like
Law
how
of
we did
averages
with like
might kick
Carolina
in,
and Duke,
so-
right? Kind of like Carolina and Duke in basketball.
Yeah.
You can have the
Correct.
regular season,
We'll take the postseason.
but hey, we got to get there first. I mean, there's still a
Oh,
ton
yeah.
of baseball to be played. Ton of
Yep,
baseball.
100%. So last thing I'll say, got to give a huge shout out once again as well to Jacob Dorn, who graduated from App State this weekend. And first of all, I got to give a shout out to Dorn for not.
He didn't win
Doesn't
no
look like
App
to
year.
me wearing
No
any
state
App
gear.
State gear. No.
No,
Well,
well, he
no
was
state-
neutral.
No NC State, no App State, completely neutral, which I respect that.
that's
Like,
fair.
if he wore it,
Mrs. Dorn wore the.
He
App
was
State
dad.
family.
He was dad that
Yeah,
weekend. He was dad. He wasn't coach. He was dad.
amen, and
sure.
absolutely. So, but I get like for Dorn, if he would have worn stuff, I'd be like, dang. But then if he wore App State stuff, I'd be like, ugh.
Right. He's a no-win situation.
Yeah, exactly. So
Macon had the good comment. He was in dad mode. That's the
Dad
best way
mode.
to say it.
amen. Exactly right. So huge shout out there, Jacob, and excited for him and the whole Dorn family for sure. Because I think
But Sarah Dorn was wearing yellow though. That's what I was gonna say.
I said
So,
she rep for the family. She can do that.
yeah.
And she could do
Yeah.
that 100%.
And that's mom. That's mom mode.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, hey, the Dorn family's doing it right. Now Jacob is going to grad school. Luke, who's at NC State, and then Connor, who just accepted I think it was a D2 football scholarship. So playing out Carver Gibbons. So
yeah, I forgot where it was at. Now.
So they're doing things right. So shout out to the Dorn family.
Gardner
for sure.
Webb, maybe.
Well, maybe.
I don't know.
Hey, Leighton, what's the Hurricane for? I know you're looking at it.
Oh yeah, dude. Hey, Greg, you know what the score is, man?
Did you see 3 goals?
3-1, baby. Less than 5 minutes left. Hey, listen, I put out that tweet and I stand by it. At the end of the day, I put it out there. I haven't deleted it. It's still out there. But right now, I'm thinking about that GIFs where it's like every single time I put it out, they pull me right back in, and that's basically where I am right now. I'm like, because
Craig's like, shut up, stop talking.
No, I was looking up. Connor Dorn went to East Tennessee State, so give him his props.
East Tennessee.
ETSU, okay.
ETSU.
They are the Buccaneers. Buccaneers.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because I told Greg, I said if we win this game, it's going 7. You're not losing game 6. You're not losing at home.
Back at home.
You're not losing that game. So it's going 7. So and
By
then
the
all
way,
the
real
pressure
quick,
on the Rangers
because I don't want to talk about your stupid team. They have a good hashtag at East Tennessee State. Hashtag burn the boats. I like that.
Burn the boats.
What's Tampa Bay have, Greg? What's Tampa Bay's?
2 more Stanley Cup championships than
No more
Carolina.
playoffs.
And then I think we've got 2 more Super Bowl wins than the Carolina Panthers.
That's a really long hashtag, Greg.
That's the hashtag.
I think I hit
167 characters. Holy
I
cow!
think I hit the Twitter limit just on the hashtag.
2 more Stanley Cups than you, and 2 more Super Bowls. Like, wow, that's a big. Their marketing team sucks. Ratings suck.
I think it's time to end it on that one.
I agree. First of all,
don't hire Greg for your marketing services, guys. Just don't do it.
No, but you can hire me as a fan.
Oh, empty netter, 4-1, game over, baby.
Really,
Empty netter, baby.
we're gonna glaze over that comment.
We're going game 6, baby. Let's go.
Glaze over that comment. All right.
All right.
Greg, we'll send you a jersey in the mail, man. So don't worry about it.
Okay. Sounds great.
That's right. Anyway, so shout out to True Seminole first of all, who's been even though he's an FSU fan,
we love honestly. I think it's safe to say we've had Tar Heel fans on here. If you're a good fan, we got respect for you. Just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, like great day.
Unless you're a Canes fan, because we're a bunch of jerks.
Hey, Greg, why not us, man? Why not us?
I have one of those shirts, actually.
Hey, Greg, Canes after this game is going to come out with a tweet, and it just says hashtag why not us, and you're going to love it.
He's going to be like torn inside. Do I retweet this or not? I can't decide.
I swear, if it comes from our account, I'm blocking it. I'm blocking Tuffy Talk if that comes from our account.
To mute the account.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate y'all. Again, we've said it before, and we'll remind everybody about it again. There's never been a better time to be an NC State fan. Get involved is making a difference. Everything you've seen in football, men's basketball, women's basketball, all of it, a lot of it has to do with the fact of how much NC State fans has gotten involved from an NIL Wolfpack Club perspective. So if you haven't already, make sure to go check out Wolfpack Club. Check out One Pack NIL. Check out Savage Wolves. Go get involved if you haven't already. Put your money where your mouth is, and let's go do what we need to win AC championships, y'all. And then from our end, y'all, if you haven't already, do us a big favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And then also, too, hit that like button if you haven't as well. As again, that goes a long way towards helping the YouTube algorithm get that video out in front of more people. And then also, too, if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star review, we'd greatly appreciate that as well, y'all. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We are so excited to celebrate the seniors this weekend. Send them out right, y'all. Send them out with a series win, a top 4 ACC seed, and then put in a good spot for regional host, y'all. We'll see y'all then. Enjoy it, and go Pack, y'all. Y'all be good, man. And by the way, go Canes, baby.
Go Canes.